to another episode of the Self-Development Tactics podcast. Today we're once again gonna talk about art. I don't know which form of art yet, and I'm just searching for something for my hair. Quickly gonna get something. Because to be honest, as good as sometimes longer hair can look like, they are a fucking mess when doing anything else or trying to do anything else. Let's fire up Behance or whatever the fuck. If there is some echo, I am really sorry for that. I have reorganized my flat a little tiny bit because of reasons. I feel like that sometimes it really does me at least good to, see things differently, have different things and whatever. I do like it, I do enjoy it, and I think it is, it can be a good tactic to just reorganize shit. Period. Let's see what we're having here. Lately I've been, getting really, it's not bored, but I really dislike the stuff that I'm doing because I feel like I'm, always doing the same thing. It's always like the same shapes, the same techniques, and I'm not learning too much anymore. I have really felt the way yesterday as I was, doing my daily artwork, and I think I should be doing something different. Maybe another software, learning it, or just another technique. I don't know. It is a bit frustrating to some degree, and also like I don't know. It's kind of unnecessary to just do the same thing over and over and over again without basically changing anything. So yeah, period. I do like this poster design. I think also the font on the very bottom looks quite nice. It looks very technical. It is. I would say the whole placement of the font is quite nothing new. But what is new? Always inventing the wheel is not possible. One cannot just do that. But some things, especially because of the internet, some things just have been seen over and over and over again, and therefore it is even more beautiful to see something new, something you haven't seen before, as something like this. It is a building. It is like watercolor-ish. It probably is just some effect or some shade that this person has used. But still, the way it looks, it's quite cool. I really do like it. Maybe, I'm an architecture undergraduate. Maybe I should be doing a bit more with architecture. But I wonder, how this person did that. It looks really nice. I really, really enjoy it. I really, really like it. But yeah. The cool thing about Behance is that most often you can see, Blender and Shaper 3D. I don't know what Shaper 3D is. I do not know what Shaper 3D is, but apparently it's always the same person. You can do things with it. Probably some other 3D software. Photoshop, After Effects. After Effects, by the way, can also be kind of useful also for still frames, like, just some posters and whatever, because you can indeed really distort things in a really cool way. That is not necessarily, possible, yes, but not as easy, and not as maybe also usable. In, Photoshop and, whatever software you're using for your poster design, Illustrator, whatever, can be good as well, can be good use as well. But I think what I find definitely more interesting, I mean, something like this, it is cool. I mean, you're having a stone, it really looks nice, and you're having those bubbles and whatever. But I don't know, like I think that something like the architecture that we've seen before is a bit more interesting. Because, and there's landscapes. I do also really like landscapes. Because I think what makes things really interesting, oh, I really like it. Is seeing non-reality. Maybe surrealistic things, things that are just not really possible, but look like they're possible. This is what I find really interesting and also really thoughts of tomorrow, really usable, I would say. This also looks really cool. Made by, I really cannot read that, Max and Cinema 4D and Octane Render. By the way, if you didn't know that, Octane render engine is available for Blender, that I am sort of primarily using besides, a bit of Houdini and Rhino, is free for Blender, which is amazing, because you're having such a lot of possibilities and everything looks just, so nice from the get-go. Of course, there are a lot of things you can adjust, but the look that you're having when you're starting the software, at first it already looks really good and really cool. As really good and really cool also all of this looks like. I don't know if it is a photograph, it could basically be everything. 3D software, well, that's a digital camera, video camera. That is definitely very specific. Ah, God. A very, very, very specific. Matte paintings. I mean, something like this. It has some real elements like this tree and whatever and this bird, but still, this is not really real. I at least hope. And so on and so forth. I do enjoy that. Also, atmospheric things. And this, I have seen it before, but I think it is cool. Like all these explosion things and whatever. I do enjoy them. I do think they are quite good. And of course, architectural pieces, seeing some really cool buildings. But I think what makes a building really nice and really cool is, how it is being used and how it was designed for being used. I mean, and this is something I have realized this weekend. Through buildings or with buildings, you can really make one's life a lot better. And I think this is something very beautiful to see, very beautiful to also realize. It is amazing. It's really cool. When it is done in the right way, basically. I mean, and when it is designed for the right person, and or specifically for this person. And also, I mean, economically, just, right, basically. I mean, having some good isolation, having a lot of airflow, being able to kind of, just, get a lot of air into the building, and also a lot of sunshine, also not having to heat the place all the time because of whatever, the sun shining in and just, creating this warmth and whatever. I think this is one of the most interesting parts of architecture. I would argue boiler house. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. A boiler house. Also something like this. I mean, having a person and it, it is generated through some algorithms or whatever. Really cool. Really, really enjoyable. Dust of time. I mean, of course, at this point, one does not really or cannot really know. And I just, thought about it while scrolling through all of this. what is indeed a real render now, or what is just, some AI stuff, Midjourney and DALL-E and whatever it is. Which, I really don't want to say that it is something bad if it is the case. It still looks good, and I think at this point we can still also most often see the difference, and see whether something was created with actual intent, quite, and or semi-intent, let's call it like this, because this could be both, but I believe that you're still seeing some fragments and some unusual stuff, some things that do not seem quite right in some Midjourney products, meaning Blender and Tobas Studio, meaning that you still can see a difference, and it is clear to such a degree. So the whole AI stuff, and especially Midjourney, you can still see the vision. You can still see what it is all about, what the intention was, and whatever. But it is not as clear and or as precise as a real artist's work is, I believe. Something like this, it looks good, and Midjourney has the tendency to quite always look good, but still, there is still some difference, which I think is good. And even if it is not the case anymore in a few months, a year, whatever, that's not bad as well. Certain things, for certain industries. For graphic designers, it might be just really, really, really useful to, not have to resort to some stock photos, but, being able to generate them, and or having a good piece for a good article, not having to have, an illustrator besides, of course, I don't want to say that, we do not need illustrators anymore in the future. I think we do. I think they are still going to be really important for the sole reason of, some people have certain styles, and of course, maybe in the future AI can simulate those styles, but still, there's still a bit of a difference, I would argue. And then, of course, if it is what is it called? A famous one, but named. Well, let's just say famous. A famous artist. Of course, I'm gonna use her work or his work if possible, because this person is known, and it also just shines some good light onto whatever I'm doing. I think this is a great example of what I was saying before. 3ds Max, ZBrush, and V-Ray. This, especially, I think the first one there, this could have been made by AI, but still it is very clear. It's also very clear in positioning, composition. There is some depth, there's no artifact, there's no unclearness, I would say. It's very clear. Let's actually, maybe I can find some Midjourney things there to kind of, also for me, basically having like one-by-one comparison. The fonts are very unclear. This is, it might be simulating just a painting, and of course there are paintings like this, but still, you see what is going on, but it is not very precise. It's not very clear. Of course, they are still really good things, and I think they can really aid one's creative process. I mean, this is something completely different. Character experiment with AI. I mean, yeah, they look really good. I mean, they could also just be renders. To be honest, they really look good. Even though, I mean, the hand, it's just something, is it? Also, like this hand, it is just something. You know, it's kind of broken. Also, the other one, which, yeah, he as well. The face is good, really good. I mean, it gets better, and I think it is cool to see that. Even though, I mean, in the future, there probably might be a conversation about, you know, is this art? Is it? Isn't it? And of course, it also really takes quite some time to generate those images, you know, having the right prompt, and then like really, you know, I mean, there is there was some painting that won a fine art competition and whatever, and people were like really upset about it. But I think there was an interview or just some article with the artist. And I mean, he was, you know, trying so many things, and then he was really trying to get the prompt right. And he was, I mean, I think he was trying for a few hundred times. And, you know, it's also then in the end a question of money. And one is not really sure if the result is gonna be really good or just good or mediocre. But yeah, I think that I'm gonna end the episode there. I really hope that it was quite interesting for you, and I'm gonna see you the next time.